Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, I feel much delighted to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to the 15th International Conference on Islamic Capital Markets with the main theme of developing Islamic capital markets to converge the Ummah.
The compassionate, the merciful. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, knowledgeable scholars, it's with great pleasure and honor that I welcome you all to the 15th Islamic Capital Markets Conference.
Actually, we are done with the first day of the event. I hope you have enjoyed it, and we are waiting for you tomorrow morning right at 9 o'clock here at the same venue. Thank you and goodbye.
In the name of Allah, the compassionate, the merciful. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, knowledgeable scholars, it's with great pleasure and honor that I welcome you all to the 15th Islamic Capital Markets Conference. This year, with the broad theme of developing capital markets to converge the Ummah. By and large, I can say that we have gathered here to explore and discuss the crucial role that capital markets play in fostering unity and economic growth within the Muslim community. As we embark on this journey together today, which might be now laying the first bricks of a grand and imposing edifice for the not-too-distant future, it is important to acknowledge the significance of convergence within the Ummah. The 19th century colonialism held us back by the manacles of passivity, fragmentation, dependence, and differentiation, superadded by the political spatial divergence we had to tolerate because of the state-nation system of 20th century. That era has come to an end, however, and the only viable alternative, if you ask me, is the Ummah. We are living in a world that Muslim community as a diverse and vibrant entity spanning across continents, cultures, and economies can harness its collective strength, the potential of Ummah, that is to say. I would like to put finger here on the fact that Muslims identify themselves as being inextricably bound up with the community. In other words, the Ummah takes centrality and encourages people to care for one another. Donation of a certain amount of their wealth to charitable causes is but one manifestation of that spirit. Community of believers, while subscribing to the basic tenets of Islam, which are unity of Allah and prophethood of Muhammad, peace be upon him, need to take stock of their assets and potentials as well and engineer their future. Otherwise, it will be engineered for them. What it takes, I firmly believe, is convergence of the Ummah. That is how we can put whatever we have together, at least in the most practical aspects for the beginning, and build up the future we have in mind. The elites of the Islamic capital markets are no exception and are supposed to pay their fair share of contribution to the cause, I mean convergence of the Ummah. Let's bear in mind that not only will Muslims reap the benefits of such convergence within the Ummah, but also non-Muslims are going to enjoy the building blocks of a just international society it provides. These translated into economics would mean fairness for all human beings, whether they are in Africa, Europe, South America, or the Muslim world. Anyhow, capital markets, as the backbone of capital flow, have the power to shape and transform societies. They provide a platform for businesses to raise capital, facilitate investment opportunities, and drive economic growth. Yet the potential of capital markets to converge the Ummah remains largely untapped. It goes without saying that Islamic finance has its voice already heard globally, and Muslim scholars and policymakers have so far done a lot of work. We can see wide acceptance of Islamic instruments because of their inherent fairness, sustainability, and risk profile. The Sukuk market has now the potential to foster greater cross-border financial flow and inclusion than before, and is capable of facilitating investment in public infrastructure projects. However, there is still much to do. With a view to promoting convergence within the Ummah based on the capacities of capital markets, as far as I am concerned, there are three distinct domains worth working on, which I hope will be paid attention to by the respected scholars of this conference. A big part would be building a consensus among different schools of Islamic thought in various parts of the globe, so that Islamic countries could adapt their regulatory and supervisory frameworks for cross-border sukuks. To put it another way, creating a Sharia-compliant atmosphere that the Ummah agrees upon. Next is the matter of sustainable and responsible investment, because Islamic finance and ESG seem to have something in common principally, as both try to avoid harm. I know there is much to say here, and finance professionals need to reflect on the issue before they come up with well-established ESG-IF propositions. However, such a convergence between the two is possible to materialize and make up appealing portfolios not only for market participants within the Ummah, but also for ESG investment seekers worldwide, especially after the ISO endorsed in July the sustainability-related financial disclosure standards issued by the International Sustainability Standards Board. Another area of work that probably demands the conscious attempt of the most brilliant minds of the Ummah is the ever-changing realm of technology. Within capital markets, we have to think and work non-stop to meet the needs of increasingly more sophisticated individual and institutional investors in the capital market. With a focus on integrating ethics and justice from one side with IT solutions on the other, Islamic fintech has been gradually gaining prominence. A quick look at indices shows that some Islamic countries are creating more conducive environment for the growth of such solutions. The potential for halal businesses in Malaysia to raise Sharia-compliant funds based on these fintech solutions is a good example. Again, I believe much more needs to be done here. We need such thinkers and experts who can delve into depth of Islamic tradition, which goes beyond the millennium, and find the shared elements running through the hearts of members of this Ummah, and have these elements artistically interwoven with the solutions they design in a way that these solutions will be culturally as appealing and inclusive as possible for the Muslims worldwide. That is certainly going to take a lot of broad-mindedness. There is definitely much more aspects to the issue which are to be unfolded by the scholars, thinkers, and researchers within the conference time and later on, Allah willing. Dear guests, today we stand at a critical juncture where the need for convergence within the Ummah has never been more pressing. Economic disparities, geopolitical challenges, and technological advancements have created both opportunities and obstacles for the Muslim community. It is imperative that we leverage the power of capital markets to bridge these gaps and foster inclusive growth. This conference serves as a platform for experts, scholars, and industry leaders to come together and exchange ideas, experiences, and best practices. Through thought-provoking presentations, insightful panel discussions, and engaging conversations, we aim to identify strategies and initiatives that can drive the development of capital markets within the Ummah. Over the course of a two-day conference, we will look through various aspects of capital market development, including Sharia-compliant regulatory frameworks, Islamic finances, investment opportunities, sukuks, structures, sustainability, tokenizing Islamic financial instruments, legal issues, and technological advancements. We will explore how these elements can be used to promote convergence, foster economic empowerment, and create a more prosperous future for the Ummah. I encourage each and every one of you to actively participate in the sessions, share your knowledge, and engage in meaningful dialogue. It is through collaboration and collective effort that we can unlock the true potential of capital markets and pave the way for a more integrated and prosperous Ummah. In conclusion, I extend my deepest gratitude to all the speakers, sponsors, and attendees who have made this conference possible. Your presence here today is a testament to your commitment toward the development and convergence of the Ummah. Let us seize this opportunity to forge new partnerships, exchange ideas, and lay the foundation for a brighter future. Thank you, and I wish you all a productive and enlightening conference ahead. Thank you.
The history of global capital markets is replete with peaks and valleys, and that of Iran is no exception. In a time span of more than half a century, numerous instruments have been launched on Iran's capital market, including regular bonds and Islamic sukuks to finance economic enterprises and government projects. It is also a well-established market to channel investments between a wide range of suppliers and those in need, with a market capitalization of roughly $180 billion. It's worth mentioning that every single financial instrument trading within Iran's capital market is to be approved by the Sharia Compliance Committee of the Securities and Exchange Organization of Iran. The Parliament of Iran passed the Securities Act in 1966, and the Tehran Stock Exchange was established the next year. Stocks and bonds were the only securities issued on the Tehran Stock Exchange before the Islamic Revolution. The first bonds offered on the TSE were government-backed debt securities to support the country's defensive spending with a value of $38 million. The Islamic Revolution of 1979, however, was a game-changer. As Islamic ideas began to make inroad into all aspects of Iranian political and economic life, a good number of companies left the stock market, and issuance of bonds was legally banned. In their efforts to create the law for a non-riba or interest-free banking system and promoting Islamic contracts, Iranian financial experts turned over a new leaf in the history of Islamic financial markets of the country. Musharaka Securities were the first Islamic contracts to issue for funding construction projects worth $90 million in 1994. Ratification of the Islamic Republic of Iran's Securities Market Act in 2005, followed by the law of developing new financial instruments in 2008, ramped up the speed of popularity of Islamic contracts among market participants. Upon the SEO's Board of Directors' approval of establishing a Sharia Compliance Committee, it was stipulated that there would be neither an instrument launched nor a financial instrument authorized to operate before obtaining the committee's approval. Musharaka Securities were a successful story, and now it was time for Ijara Sukuks to be launched for the first time in 2010. Later on, Iran's capital market witnessed issuance of other Islamic securities, including different types of sukuks, Islamic treasury bonds, mortgage bonds, and derivatives. Iran's sukuks market has been experiencing a good pace of expansion since 2019, with the value of securities issued then increasing from $7 billion to $9.5 billion in 2022. Murabaha securities are the most popular of all, accounting for $4 billion of the total value of Islamic securities issued in 2022. For companies, however, Ijara, Murabaha, and Salam were the most appealing Islamic investment structures, respectively. Vekala is the SEO's task at hand and seems to be a promising security very soon. It's our devout hope that through gathering of experts, scholars, and participants of global Islamic finance in ICM, we can tap into the potentials of the Islamic community and take bigger steps towards a more prosperous and just economy, and witness more convergence within the Ummah as time goes by. The Securities and Exchange Organization of the Islamic Republic of Iran commences the 15th Islamic Capital Markets Conference titled as Developing Islamic Capital Markets to Converge the Ummah.